Hello, everybody, anybody. Chris Wood here, November 14th, 2022. Thank you for anybody that may tune in. I just am on here for a quick few minutes to let everybody know and show that my identity theft is done. So, after 3 years of being injured, deformed, skull split, brain injured, body mutilated, lies, medical treatment refusals, medical discrimination because of more lies against me, stalking, kidnapping, sex assault, false arrest, and my mother's murder, along with my identity theft and my attempted murder. This is revenge retaliation on me for speaking of police crimes and others back in late 2018, early 2019, crimes that were taking place out of the Morning Star mission here in Napanee, Ontario. The homeless human trafficking and the homeless exploitation for monetary gain and other crimes that was happening. And I was talking about it, and as a result, I became a victim. I went to see a woman at mental health named Stacy for another woman who lives here in Napanee that was causing trouble. So to prevent her getting in trouble, I went to see him. Stacy was the one I talked to. I then walked out on her, and the next day, I get a meal delivered to me from one David Smith. 5 minutes after that, maybe 10, Spencer Mills pulls into my driveway at my old previous address, him and a guy from mental health, basically to let me know in a roundabout way that if I did not stop talking about what was taking place, there's going to be serious consequences. 100% right. William Billy Wooldridge, or the one known as William Billy Wooldridge, then came onto the scene, and he was constantly stalking. Every time he would go by my house, sometimes 12 hours a day, every few minutes, back and forth, back and forth. I would go out, I would walk downtown. He would be right there every step of the way, knowing exactly where I am. How? Because they took off, O.P.P took off his prisoner tracker or his psychiatric tracker, whatever it is, and they put it onto me for tracking, for part of this identity theft and framing. Billy Wooldridge, or the one known as Billy Wooldridge, is a sex offender, obvious identity thief. He's a heroin addict. He is highly psychotic. He is highly delusional. He is a mimicker. And he is a perfect person to use for this kind of crime against me. Use somebody with this kind of background and criminal history and record, and boom, I'm going through identity theft from this piece of shit, and you're giving me his history. You're giving me in an attempt to give me his record and background through the bullshit lies against me, stating I have a long criminal record and history, and not true in any way, shape, or form. Stating I have a long history and psychological history and in and out of institutions my whole life. Not true in any way, shape, or form. Never been. Anytime, anywhere, never been. Lies against me, stating I'm suicidal and self-harm or bullshit. I would like to know this if I was, because it's certainly not true in any way, shape, or form. I've been trying to get help and save my life while being fucking denied it, while being called a liar, while being told every time I go to a hospital, I seen your file, I seen your file, I seen your file. What do you expect us to do for you, Mr. Wood? We're not doing nothing for you. And that's what I was getting. And prior to me, or after Spencer Mills and all that showed up, back in 2019 at my previous address. I was there, and the ex-chief or commander or whoever he is went by in a white Jeep Wrangler. He waved at me. I waved back. When I waved back, a black truck pulled up beside him. The person had black hair. They pointed something and they shot it at me, and it went into my right ear. And that's when all my problems began. And prior to that, I had not been to a hospital or a doctor in almost 7 to 10 years. So I'd like to know where they're getting all this information on me of this medical background and psychological background and all this other bullshit. I was falsely charged just to get my pictures, and my signature for this identity theft for forgeries, framings, and fraud against me. Isn't that right, Spencer Mills? I was falsely charged to deflect crimes against me from the police and doctors for wanting them arrested and charged for 3 years for crimes against me for what is happening to me now. Kidnapped May 27, 2021, 24 hours after asking for help against this from the police and doctors. And that was done to get my piss and my blood that was taken through threats and force. That was in an attempt also to shut me up under false pretenses so I would not be talking or showing what I'm showing and talking about now, and by whom, how, and why. I'm the victim of identity theft. I've been seriously skull split. I've been seriously body mutilated. There's been the lies against me to prevent me medical help, to prevent me medical proof. 3 years this is done. Time has been bought. You are not only guilty of murdering my mother, you're guilty of murdering an entire bloodline for your revenge retaliation framing against me using pieces of shit junkies that you pay $300 a day to and give free drugs, i.e., Tyler Lake, Javen Allstein, Blair Hardy, who is Bandito MC, and the one known as William Bill Wooldridge, the delusional piece of shit who is also allegedly Hells Angels MC Captain Ontario chapter. They're So I have been going through this for 3 years, and I have been talking about it for 3 years. By whom, how, and why? I believe what I was shot with is what is called remote neural monitoring, what is a nano microchip implant. It is police and military tech. It's been in use since the 60s, and not a lot of people are aware of it. It is a nano microchip implant, and it is designed to go into a person's body for the central nervous system to destroy their central nervous system, and also to enable illegal invasive surveillance through the victim. And that exactly is what has taken place with me. All of these co-offenders to O.P.P are passing this tech around, and they are using it on me. And in the process, I am being deformed. I am being constantly numbed. I am being seriously changed. And there is not a damn thing I can do about it, no matter how much I prove anything. I even had a justice of the peace make accusations against me, stating I was high on marijuana while being sodomized because it was done by O.P.P, because it was done by Wooldridge, and then having doctors laugh in my face over it, right? Dr. Barton and Dr. Pritchard trying to have me committed for it because I'm a man and because it was done by and from whom or to whom. One's involved human trafficking, that it is being used, remote neural monitoring, it is being used for human trafficking. Obviously, my identity theft, and I also have prisoner tracking on me too, so they know exactly where I am 24/7, plus the R&M to read is William Wooldridge when the time comes. As a matter of fact, I was out a little while ago this evening, approximately 4:45, 5 o'clock, and next thing you know, I start walking down the street, and there's a whole bunch of O.P.P out, and one was an SUV. It turned around as soon as it seen me. It went up the street. It turned around, And then it proceeded to come by me like 3 times. I went to the corner on Center Street, or two or three of them went by, and then I was standing at the lights on Center Street. Another one was across the road right in front of me. I walked in front of them, and then SUVs and these other cars were following me all the way to where I was going or circling around the damn block, watching me, stalking me. I also filed private prosecution today against Billy Wooldridge. Again, I want their damn arrest. They are guilty of this against me, and one way or another, they are going to be arrested. It's going to have to be done by outside police, but it's going to be done one way or another, because there's no chance of it being done here in Napanee by the police here. There's no chance, because they're involved. So this is what happens when you speak of police crimes. You become a victim. You have your parents murdered. You get lies about. They buy time, the cover-ups, the arrest refusals, surrounding hands-on guns to prevent anything legal. Laughs in Face by Shannon Cork as Billy Wooldridge, her boss, went on to stalk and murder my mother with Blair Hardy. If anybody thinks identity thefts can't happen, I am 100% proof that it can, and it does, and it's being done through remote neuromonitoring on all O.P.P. little boyfriend, Blair Hardy, is Bandito MC allegedly, and he is also the boyfriend to Spencer Mills. William Wooldridge is the boss, and he is also the one that used to stalk children for the ex-chief or commander or whatever he is, the one that left in 2019 after he shot me. He used to stalk children every day at Tim Hortons. Child sex slavery. He's a pedophile. There's sex offenders, and they are using these for sex offenses as well. The R&M through when they're broadcasting through people, using it for invasive surveillance and spying on victims to watch children naked, to watch adults naked, and every single move that they make 24/7. I even have this used on me by people while I am sleeping, for fuck's sakes. This is how bad it is. I have stuff being pumped through my body from it, radiation and EMFs that's softening my skull and deforming me for this to happen, while having no feeling or stimulation in my head whatsoever, and that's supposed to be normal, and knowing that I can't do a damn thing about it, knowing that I am the end of my bloodline and I am being played as a puppet by police and their junkies who they will not touch. They are seriously highly protected, and they know it. That's the hospital with the police, the ones that exist to cover up their crimes for O.P.P. Spencer Mills 14716. Ex-chief or commander, like I said, that left in 2019. Staff sergeants 2019 and 2021. Shannon Cork, Robert Kane, Robert Lucas, Stacy, mental health worker, was Daily Tea Company in Napanee, now Kingston. Shelley Hafner, and then there is Tatiana at Lennox and Addington County General Hospital. Medical file falsifier, the one that assures and gets their victims medically blacklisted, is Stacy's girlfriend, Dr. Tatiana V, aka Margie V, the one that basically signed my death certificate for her girlfriend to get away with this, to get me medically blacklisted and help buy time. Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. McGregor, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Waldron, triage nurses Terry, David, and Tanya, Paladin security guard. Then there is their boss, William Bill Wooldridge, 149 Center Street North, last known username William Bill Wooldridge, possibly Delarosable, 149 Center Street North, Napanee. He is approximately 71, 72 years old. He, bald, did have goatee and glasses. And then there is Blair Hardy. He's approximately 65 years old. He's also a drug trafficker. He is the one that laces the drugs here in Napanee that is being sold to commit homicides to make it look like it's just another junkie getting bad drugs and overdosing from them. Meanwhile, it's being done on purpose for that intent to make it look that way, and that's how they're getting away with their murders. One of the ways. Blair Hardy's also a rapist, financial thefts and frauds. There is Tyler Lake. Obviously, he is broadcasting through me right now as I am doing this. Right in here. All right in here. My skull has been fucking hollowed out while they are using me to broadcast through from the EMS and radiation. I also get their feces and their piss pumped through my body as well. And if I share any direct DNA with you bastards, you're gonna pay fucking hell. I'm more than willing to go and have my father exhumed. For any one of you pieces of shit who's doing this to me, remember this is what happens when you speak of police crimes. This is how they get revenge retaliation. And they use Tyler Lake, they use Javen Allstein, they use Billy Wooldridge, they use Blair Hardy, they use Isaac, they use the woman on Center and Thomas Street at the crack shack with Curtis and others. They use Bert Hustler. And they use Maggie Falls. Psychotic garbage, Blair Hardy, the one that thinks he is me, the one that's trying to be me, the one that's seriously highly obsessed. He's also involved in blackmail too and extortions. There's Billy Wooldridge, now bald, glasses, goatee, 149 Center Street North. Alleged Hells Angels boss or Captain Ontario. These are all the O.P.P untouchables and the ones that are doing all this to me for them. This is Tyler Lake. Once again, this is Javen Allstein. Serious crackhead. And these are the main ones, along with a guy named Mike, this homeless guy here in Napanee. Approximately 60, 65 years old, lives in a tent or a trailer. So, as I'm doing this right now, I have no feeling whatsoever in the right side of my head. I just feel air going through me and electricity, and that spot on the back of my head is seriously swelling up. I don't know if that was seen or not, but that was there ever since I've been shot back in 2019 by the ex-chief, and it will not heal up. Let this be a warning and a lesson, people. Identity thefts can and do happen, and I am proof and victim of it. Through Lennox and Addington, Ontario provincial police, through the doctors here that are co-committing criminally and covering up with negligent intent for themselves and for everybody else, for Billy Wooldridge, Blair Hardy, Tyler Lake, Javen Allstein, and the rest involved. Dr. McGregor, Dr. Waldron, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Barton, Dr. Hadley, Tatiana, and triage Terry, David, and Tanya, Paladin Security, and even Lennox and Addington County General Hospital Administration having me kicked out for no reason, causing me serious harms to my lungs and my damage the day I was up there to get help. I walk in, I registered, and next thing you know, Paladin Security comes in. Nobody's seeing you today. Basically, get the fuck out of here. So I got up and I walked out. And that day that caused me serious harm, and I'm holding him accountable too, is for it. I would go to the hospital, I'd be discriminated against, I was getting called retarded, I was being laughed at, obviously, when I wasn't being treated, or I was being treated like a piece of shit. And I would walk out, and when I was walking out, they were making it look and seem like I was the one that was causing the problems and refusing treatment from them, and that is not the case. I am not going to be belittled and treated like garbage and hope that I would react and do something to them. But that's not what I'm about. They lies against me, stating I'm a fucking dangerous offender and everything else. Bullshit. Prove the last person I've harmed or even fucking touched. Nobody. Nobody. I'm not about hurting people or myself. So you're using your badges, positions, credentials, your lies, your false guise of law. The doctors using their credentials, the time buying. They're doing it to the poor, homeless, elderly, disabled. They know the victims cannot afford help or get it once their lies are cast against them. So they can get away with this to prevent help and proof to save life. So not only am I about saving my own or trying to save my own life and my bloodline, which is pretty much damn well done. So I've probably lost maybe 3 inches off of my skull from it being deformed so much and going through so many changes to me and proving it, not being able to do a damn thing about it. So I even had my other dog killed from these pieces of shit. They are serious animal abusers as well. They're using this remote neural monitoring like it is a damn game, trying to treat people like fucking puppets. And they are making a game out of it, passing it around, and seriously doing damage to others, including myself, lobotomizing victims completely and totally fucking numbing me down constantly so I'm not talking about this or thinking about it or even doing what I'm doing now. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get my dog some food, and I hope everybody has a good night. I hope this is seen. Please take it serious because it is. I am the victim of identity theft. I am the victim for intended framing and attempted murder, and I will be taken soon as one of these pieces of shit. And this is not a joke. This is not paranoia. I'm no mental illness. There is no prior, nothing, no. So I'm not going to let that be used. I am the victim of criminal, and by whom, how, and why, which I've said for the last 3 years. They've done everything to try to stop me and discredit me. Everything. And then because they know and see what I'm doing right now. Even as I'm doing this, I'm getting clicking in my left ear. Like there's a buttons being pushed. Okay, I'm going to get off here. Hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Share, subscribe. Love all, hate none. Be safe. Remember, this is how the police traffic and frame here in Napanee for revenge, retaliation, because that's what this is against me and nothing more.